Jessica was a bright and ambitious young woman in her early 20s, studying psychology at a prestigious university. With her charming smile and meticulous nature, she was often the center of attention. Despite her vibrant personality, there was an ominous shadow lurking beneath her exterior, a need for control that stemmed from her turbulent childhood. Growing up in a dysfunctional household where chaos reigned, Jessica developed an intense desire to shape her surroundings, particularly in her relationships. In her sophomore year, she met Alex. He was everything she had ever wanted: kind, charming, and devoted. The two quickly fell in love, and their relationship blossomed. However, as the initial euphoria of love faded, Jessica's darker side began to surface. The insecurity from her past reared its ugly head, and she realized she needed to take charge of the relationship to feel secure in her emotions. At first, her control was gentle and subtle. Jessica would suggest certain outfits she liked for Alex to wear when they went out, and he obligingly complied, wanting to keep her happy. She started monitoring his social media, urging him to limit his interactions with female friends. "It's not that I don't trust you, babe. It's just that I want to protect our relationship," she'd say, masking her possessiveness under the guise of love. As time went on, Jessica's desires morphed into obsessive behavior. She would call him multiple times a day, demanding to know where he was and who he was with. Alex, initially charmed by her attentiveness, began to feel stifled. Friends started to notice the change in him. He was more withdrawn and less vibrant, yet he dismissed their concerns. "She just loves me a lot," he'd explain. But deep down, he struggled with the suffocating nature of Jessica's love. As the months passed, Jessica's anxiety grew, festering into an uncontrollable need to dominate every aspect of Alex's life. She started isolating him from his friends and family, convincing him that they didn't truly care about him. "They just want to pull you away from me," she would argue, eyes flickering with determination. Alex, still deeply in love, complied, but the strain of the relationship grew heavier. One fateful night, Jessica discovered a message from an old friend of Alex's, someone she deemed a threat. Consumed with rage, she confronted him. Their argument escalated quickly, revealing the depths of Jessica's control. "You're mine, Alex. You can't just talk to anyone you want," she yelled, her voice raw with emotion. "I love you, Jess, but you can't dictate my life," Alex retorted, finally pushing back against her overreach. That night was the beginning of the end. The love they once shared warped into a battle for dominance. Jessica's fear of losing control hardened her heart. Desperation clawed at Jessica as the realization that she was losing Alex hit her. She began to devise a plan that would ensure his undying loyalty. She obsessed over the idea of eliminating anyone she saw as a threat to their relationship. The paranoia saturated her thoughts. If Alex couldn't talk to anyone else, he would have no choice but to rely solely on her. One evening, Jessica drove herself to an unsettling conclusion. She'd overheard Alex discussing the possibility of breaking up with her with a mutual friend at a party. In a frenzied state, she plotted to eliminate the perceived threat once and for all. She decided that if she couldn't control Alex's mind, she would have to take more drastic measures. On a chilling Friday night, Jessica invited Alex over for what she claimed was a make-or-break dinner. As they sat down, she poured wine, a little too freely, enhancing the atmosphere with romantic music to disguise her intentions. Their conversations ebbed and flowed, weaving between laughter and tension. However, the entire time Jessica was plotting. She had prepared a cocktail laced with poison, an untraceable concoction she had researched late into the night. As the evening went on, Jessica coaxed Alex into relaxing, ensuring he drank deeply from the glass she had prepared for him. "What's wrong, darling? You look a little pale," she feigned concern, her heart racing with anticipation. "Just tired, Jess," he replied, wincing as he took another sip. As the poison coursed through his veins, Alex began to feel disoriented. Jessica watched with a twisted sense of satisfaction, her heart pounding as she perceived the fruition of her plan. Within minutes, Alex's condition rapidly deteriorated. He struggled to stand, his vision blurred. Jessica feigned panic, calling 911 under the guise of being the concerned girlfriend. "Please, my boyfriend is unresponsive," she screamed into the phone, her voice echoing a facade of distress. But in her heart, she felt victorious. She had thwarted any chance of losing him. As the sirens wailed closer, she paced the floor, a mix of adrenaline and dread coursing through her veins. When the paramedics arrived, it was too late. Alex was pronounced dead at the scene, the mysterious circumstances puzzling the medical team. The police launched an investigation, interviewing Jessica and reviewing the circumstances surrounding Alex's death. Her initial tears of grief were meticulously calculated, her alibi unwavering. However, detectives began to notice inconsistencies in her story. Witnesses from the party where Alex had confided exposed the tension in their relationship, and details about her possessiveness began to surface. After a few days of investigation, toxicology reports came back, revealing lethal substances in Alex's system. With mounting evidence, Jessica was finally arrested. The courtroom was filled with emotion as the trial began. Jessica, once the center of attention as a charming and articulate young woman, now sat in a defendant's chair, her carefully constructed facade starting to crumble. The prosecution painted a vivid picture of obsession and control, portraying her as a master manipulator who had orchestrated Alex's demise out of fear and jealousy. Witness after witness recounted the toxic nature of Jessica's affection, detailing her controlling behavior. The evidence was overwhelming, and her defense struggled to counter the prosecution's narrative. In a moment of melancholy, Jessica took the stand, attempting to defend her actions. "I loved him too much," she explained, tears streaming down her face. "I was scared of losing him. He meant everything to me. I never wanted this to happen." But the jury saw through her pleas. After several weeks, the jury deliberated. The atmosphere in the courtroom was thick with tension as they returned with their verdict: guilty of first-degree murder. Jessica was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. As she sat in her cell, the reality of her actions began to settle in. The walls that confined her became a reflection of her own mind, isolated and filled with regret. She had achieved the control she so desperately sought, yet it came at the highest cost. Echoes of laughter and love haunted her, intertwining with memories of Alex. The truth cut through the darkness. She had lost him forever, not only due to her insatiable need for control, but through the very act of trying to possess him. In the dust of her choices, Jessica learned that love, if twisted by the need for control, could lead to devastating consequences. The shadows of her ambition would forever loom over her, reminding her of the fragility of life and love. The tragic story of Jessica and Alex serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of obsession, manipulation, and the dire consequences when love turns into a deadly desire for control. As the sun sets beyond the prison walls, a new day dawns, providing hope for redemption and a chance for reflection on the true meaning of love and freedom.